Hello.
Hey.
Hi, I'm Tyler.
Kendra.
Oh, great to meet you, Kendra.
So nice to meet you too. Come
Thank
in.
you for having me.
I'm Kendra Wilkinson, and Tyler might know me from TV. I was on a show called The Girls Next Door, which was about 3 girls dating Hugh Hefner. And now my own show, Kendra on Top. Tyler is just like that name, that like star right now that's everywhere. So it's gonna be interesting what Tyler brings to the table today, because it's either I believe or I don't. So just like a couple days ago, a couple of Calabasas moms were all hanging out, and they brought you up. And I'm like, oh, I'm seeing him in a couple days. And they go, shut up. I was like the cool mom, you know?
I love that. That's amazing.
They thought I was so cool. They're like, we're coming. I'm like,
oh,
stay back. This
I'm
is my
so
session.
flattered.
Like,
That's so sweet. Thank you for having me.
no, thank you.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad. Well, you know, before we start, I always kind of like to explain the process and just kind of let you know what to expect and really on my end how it works.
You know what's funny? I would be completely open to like any dead person coming through, but when it comes to like my future, I am open to it, but that's what makes me scared, you know, a little bit. But I totally want to hear it because, you know, I can take it. Bring it on.
The general way that it kind of works is I kind of use my other 5 senses to communicate through my 6th sense. So in that way, basically, I'll connect to people that have passed, and I might get a scent of someone's perfume, I might hear a voice of someone's name, or I might get a vision, and that's usually how they tend to communicate through visuals. And so as that kind of happens, I have to interpret what's coming through and really kind of deliver it as accurately as I can. But I have a couple impressions that are already kind of popping in.
Wow,
and so
that
what I'm
quick.
gonna do, yes, like immediately from the minute I met you, and I'm like gonna start sweating. So let's see, as far as what's coming through. Definitely, we've got that, okay.
Wow.
Ready? All right. And you have 2 kids?
I do.
Okay, cool. Would you ever be open to having a 3rd?
Why would you ask?
Well, because you have susceptibility to some hormonal changes, which would indicate susceptibility to pregnancy.
And do what?
Yeah, susceptibility to pregnancy, so it's good to keep in mind.
Oh, good Lord.
From your perspective, is having a 3rd child something you'd ever be interested in?
I said absolutely not. But now, like, our daughter just entered preschool.
Right.
And that second that she, you know, went into the preschool, I was like, I got empty nest syndrome already.
For preschool, yes. Starts young.
It's not a no anymore.
Right.
So,
right.
yeah,
it's an option.
You can't get away with anything with Tyler. Like, my little secret of maybe wanting a 3rd child, Tyler picked up on. And that's something I was hiding from everyone. Anybody that's ever asked me, like, you want another baby? I'm like, no. And Tyler picked up on the hormonal hell yes, you know?
I see that you have some objects here, which is awesome.
Yep.
That always helps. So could you hand me one?
Sure, of course. Let's see. I'll give you 2 things.
Great.
Is that
Perfect.
okay?
Awesome. Okay, so we'll see what we can get from this. So let's see, as far as what's coming through. Okay. We have 2 women that I want to highlight first that come through very strongly, and immediately the feeling that I want to highlight is a feeling of grandparents, and it's grandma. So I get 2 grandmotherly figures that I would want to highlight. The defining factor is that one acknowledges feeling like she passed away quite a long duration of time ago, like a decade or over a decade. It's kind of that feeling of like this has been a long time.
Sure.
The other gives me a feeling of this almost being much more sudden or quicker, and it seems more recent is kind of the feeling that comes across. And what's interesting is like though the grandma who passed away further is definitely acknowledging like a connection, it's this more recent one that I'm kind of wanting to highlight.
Okay.
And then really quickly, do you recall on your mom's side your grandfather's name?
William.
William. Mm-hmm. That would be the name that I just wrote right there. William.
No way.
So that's interesting.
Oh my God.
I love that. So that would be a way of acknowledging him.
Oh my God.
But yeah.
I called him Pup-Up.
Right.
Yeah, you know what? I hoped he would come through today, but
Yep.
he's not here, is he?
It was definitely a reference to him.
Okay.
But she's acknowledging it's important that we know that he's with her. And I literally looked down and was like, I wrote William. And I was like, I usually don't write things.
Yeah.
So I find that among the scribbles, it was like, okay, I'm gonna mention it.
Oh
so
my God.
that's interesting. That would just be validation.
Oh, wow.
I think I have to talk about getting mom, 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 mom. So it's always referencing to maternal, but she's having me say mom, mom,
Yeah.
mom over and over again.
I'm already like tearing up because mum, or I called her mum.
Wow.
Yeah, so you just said mum.
That's precious. I love that when stuff comes through, I don't even realize. Maybe I'm just
Yeah, she was
interpreting.
my mom's mom, and
Right.
I called her mum.
Wow, okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I do have to mention there is a reference to someone either being buried with a golf club, but she's showing me a golf club in a coffin is the symbol that comes through.
Okay, that's my mom. She was the biggest golfer, and her love was golf. She was a big golfer.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
I don't even know any women who play golf, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, this kid just came through. I have to mention this. Sorry, not to continue on.
Go ahead.
She's immediately having me reference to the fact that there's an awareness of a great-granddaughter that I have to highlight. And then referencing to name, and then is referencing to name discussion of passing down.
Yeah.
Not for granddaughter, but great-granddaughter is the connection. That makes sense?
Yep. My daughter Elijah, her middle name is Mary after her.
Wow.
After Mary, after my grandma.
Wow.
Yeah, it was very special. It was very important for me to do that, to carry on her name. I recently went down and helped clean out her house, my grandma's, after her passing, and those were a couple things I found. I think that handkerchief is what she would blow her snot on. And also, like, she had a bunch of crucifixes all over, and she, that was a crucifix necklace that I found in her jewelry.
Okay. When she comes through, she's making a point to acknowledge that in life she feels like she was mom to a deeper extent than most grandmas. Because when she comes through as your protector.
Yeah.
She comes through so strongly as the first person to want to defend you, to be there for you, to support you. And she makes this immense, immense, immense connection to you, more than I even see some mothers come through for their own children.
I had a great childhood, but the circumstance between my mom and my dad, like divorce and everything, and my grandma moved in next door. She took that role, and if I needed any advice or if I needed someone to talk to,
Sure.
she was always the one I would go to for the comfort.
Exactly,
Yes.
and getting that maternal support.
I've always had a very disconnected family, other than my grandma. So Tyler, right then and there, hit it on the head. Like, my grandma was my rock.
Grandmother on your mom's side comes through and shows an immense amount of pride for your independence, and also your independence in your relationship with your mom.
Yeah.
And your ability to be strong, and your ability to take what she feels she implemented on you.
Yeah.
And continue that in raising your own children.
Yeah, that's dead on. Oh God.
Oh. Okay, so. Okay, we're switching gears. I have to talk about a different side of family, but I'm highlighting a reference to a nurse that I would have to mention. And I'm getting a reference to grandmother, I'm getting a highlight of a reference to nurse, and then I get a reference to passing away at home. that I have to highlight.
That's my dad's mom. That's my other grandma.
Perfect, okay.
Wow.
The message that she's having me highlight is that there's an immense appreciation for the fact that she passed away at home. She didn't want to ever have to pass away in a hospital, because from her perspective, she knew what hospitals, look like. She knew kind of like, she saw and understood what it was like for people.
That just gave me the chills. Oh my God. Wow, yeah. That's
awesome.
crazy.
Do you remember her name? It's all good.
I called her Baba.
Yeah, totally fine.
That's
all good.
That's all I know is Baba.
No problem. There's a female G connection. Very distinctly a reference to like a G.
I can't.
Oh, no worries.
Sorry about that. I don't even know my own grandma's name.
It's okay. People have varying degrees of knowledge about their families.
I knew her as Baba.
Yeah, that's all good. What I would say is it's good to keep in mind there is a reference to a Kristen on that side, or a connection that she would wanting to be highlighting.
That's her. That's my aunt, Kristen. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay,
yeah.
so she's highlighting her and having me reference to her. When she's coming through, one of the big things that she focuses on too is kind of within the focuses of family and family coming together and wanting family to be together.
So can I tell you about Chris or
Sure, absolutely.
I just recently reunited with my dad, but I actually reunited with her first.
Right.
Because it's been years. I haven't seen her since I was a little girl, and I barely remember, but we're now back together again. And she's just an amazing person.
Your grandmother on your dad's side also shows a lot of appreciation for this connection with your father, and for making that and putting forward the effort to you know, resolve things and,
Yeah.
and have the relationship for what it is.
Yeah.
And there's an immense amount of pride because she understands how much you went through to get to that point.
You know, she wanted that to happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Wish she could have,
Yeah.
you know, seen it happen so we could all just be one happy family, but
Right.
you know, like it happens, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Life happens.
Yeah.
And we just do our best.
Secretly, I was hoping that my dad's mom would come through because that was the real one that was like, whoa, like she wasn't, no one knows her like that. So that was the one that I really wanted to hear from. It's so cool to hear that both grandmas are kind of like there together. Well, that was, whew. Honestly, like this was amazing. I can't stop smiling right now.
That's good. That's really the goal. I always try to give people a sense of reconnection with their loved ones, and that's really what it's all about. And just knowing that that's still there, and it always will be.
Oh my God, well, thank you so much,
Absolutely.
Tyler.
I'm gonna give you a
Wow.
hug. Oh, you were so
Oh my
precious.
God, I love you. I feel like the message of this reading is like, it's all about reconciliation. Oh my God. Wow.
That was quite the reading.
Gloria. Gloria! Oh my God, my grandma's name is Gloria. Tyler!